Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really compelling, how these profound love stories can actually grow and even thrive in really dangerous, high-stakes situations.
The kind of environments you wouldn't expect love to blossom in.
Exactly. And our source for this is it's a great piece from the Author's Workshop dated August 3, 2025. It's called Crafting Love in the Shadows of Espionage. Right. And we're focusing on this one article, Don't Be Afraid to Write Outside of Your Genre, How Heart and Cipher Captures Love in the Shadows. So our mission today, basically to pull out the key lessons from the author's experience writing this espionage series, Heart and Cipher.
Every move I'm making is history. This is effortless, this ain't shit to me. In my prime, still I'm a mystery. Realest product of industry. Op if you ain't akin to me. Take pride over the pain. Judging the fucking legend. Niggas must be insane. I gave him the fucking game and showed him how.
With Imani and Elijah, we want to understand how things like vulnerability, constant danger, even really unique ways of showing affection, how they create these powerful stories, and maybe, how they reflect something about real relationships too.
It's quite a story behind the story, actually. The author mentions sitting there in Des Moines, Washington, pretty quiet place. Yeah, and connecting that quietness to where Imani and Elijah's story sort of sparked. But the big realization after writing the first two books, Unseen and Unheard, was that the real core wasn't just the spy stuff, the action. It was the romance that kind of grew in all that darkness.
Interesting.
So that's what we're digging into. The lessons learned from writing that specific, very intense love story.
Okay, let's unpack this first big takeaway from the author. Danger as a crucible for love. This idea that intense pressure can forge really deep bonds.
Yeah, it's a powerful concept.
So how does the author show this? Like in the day-to-day or moment-to-moment interactions between Imani and Elijah. It's more than just background danger. Right?
Oh, absolutely. What's really key here is that in their world, this espionage world, constant threat is just normal. It's the baseline. And because of that, every single emotional moment gets dialed way up, amplified. The author makes sure the danger, especially from Alexander Barlow's syndicate, isn't just there to move the plot along. It is the
crucible. The thing that heats everything up.
Exactly. It's like this intense heat that purifies their feelings, transforms them. So think about it. A simple touch, maybe a quick whispered word of reassurance when things are falling apart. Or even just a desperate look between them, when they don't know if they'll see each other again. These tiny things become huge in a normal, calmer world. Maybe you wouldn't even notice them.
Right.
But with the syndicate breathing down their necks, they become these massive statements of feeling. They strip away all the fluff, all the superficial stuff.
That makes sense. It really forces authenticity.
It does. They're not just plot points. They're like the actual cement holding their bond together.
So that vulnerability, Imani feels, being plunged into this crazy, dangerous world. And Elijah's reaction, that sort of protective instinct, that becomes the foundation.
Precisely. That's the bedrock. It wasn't built over coffee dates.
No.
It was built in moments of sheer terror and relying on each other to survive.
Which really makes you think, doesn't it? How those high-stakes moments, whether in a story or, frankly, in life, they don't just ramp up emotions. Yeah. They show you who people really are deep down.
Unfiltered character, yeah.
Okay, so danger refines love. That's powerful. But what about secrets? Usually secrets are the big relationship killer, right? So this next insight from the author is really intriguing. Secrets aren't obstacles, they're the bridge. That flips the script completely.
It really does. It's quite counterintuitive.
How did the author make that work? Because normally secrets just drive wedges between people.
Well, especially with a character like Elijah. He's practically built out of secrets living in shadows. You'd think that would be a massive wall.
For sure.
But the author made a very deliberate choice here. Those hidden truths, they become the pathway to connection, not the barrier blocking it. Think about the really profound moments between Imani and Elijah. They didn't happen when they were sharing their favorite foods or something mundane.
Yeah.
They happened when they took that huge risk, when they chose to reveal the stuff that was most painful, most hidden.
Can you give an example from the books?
Yeah, definitely. Like Elijah's past as Experiment 008, that's not just some random backstory detail.
Right.
It hints at this maybe modified operative origin, something deeply experimental and probably traumatic that shaped who he is, that careful, guarded nature. Revealing that is huge.
Okay.
And then you have Imani's own deep-seated anxiety about her mother's fate. That's not a small thing. It's tied to her core fears. Sharing these secrets wasn't easy. These were foundational vulnerabilities.
So the trust they build isn't about knowing everything public about each other.
Yeah.
It's about the courage to show the hidden, painful parts.
Exactly. It's less what I know about you and more what I'm willing to trust you with.
That's a really key distinction.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
And for you listening, it kind of makes you reflect, right? How maybe shared vulnerability, rather than just knowing all the facts, is what really cements the strongest bonds we have.
Deep, resilient bonds. Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The third point is fascinating, focusing just on Elijah. The author calls it the love of an architect. Now, Elijah's described as like pure logic, cold precision. How does a character like that even do romance? How did the author make his expressions of love feel real and not just weirdly robotic?
That's the challenge, right? Because Clyzie overly sentimental stuff just wouldn't fit him. It wouldn't feel authentic to Elijah.
No, not at all.
So his love had to be, as the author says, architectural. It's not about big, showy gestures in the way we usually think of them. It's about the details, meticulous planning, a deep, almost logical understanding of what Imani needs, what keeps her safe, what comforts her.
So, like, what does that look like in practice?
Well, the examples the author gives are great. A perfectly designed safe house. Every single detail considered for Imani's security and comfort. For Elijah, that is a profound act of love.
Okay, I can see that.
Or think about a carefully chosen wardrobe. Not about fashion, but about practical needs. Subtle protection, maybe. It shows he's thinking ahead for her, planning for her safety.
Calculated care.
Exactly. Even something small, like the author mentions a reassuring hand on Imani's thigh. It's not some move he learned from a movie.
Right.
It comes from a specific shared memory they have, a moment of comfort. It's a connection that's uniquely theirs. His expressions of care are built with logic, with foresight, designed specifically for Imani.
The kind of unique, almost calculated tenderness. Yeah, I can see how that makes his love feel really potent and true to him.
It's custom-built love, not off-the-rack romance.
Yeah. And it's a good reminder for all of us, maybe, that love shows up in all sorts of ways, sometimes unconventional, totally individual, but still incredibly meaningful. There's no single right way to show affection.
Definitely not.
All right, let's flip to Imani now, our heroine. The fourth lesson is, the heroine's strength is in her heart. Now, Imani's obviously brilliant, right? And she definitely becomes this capable operative herself. But the author says her greatest strength is something else.
That's right. Her intellect, her skills, they're impressive, no doubt. But the author really emphasizes that her #1 strength, it's her empathetic heart.
Empathy as a strength in a spy thriller.
Yes.
Oh.
And it's not passive. It's foundational to who she is. It's what made her a good journalist in the first place, able to understand the community's pain back in Afton Creek. And crucially, it's what makes her Elijah's anchor.
His anchor. How so?
She sees past the cold exterior, the precision. She understands the person underneath. She's absolutely not just some damsel waiting to be rescued.
No, she sounds very active.
Very. Her role is incredibly profound. She has the emotional intelligence to grasp Elijah's deep pain, his hidden wounds from that past. And because of that, she gives him something more powerful than just revenge to fight for. She offers him hope, real connection, a reason to look beyond just surviving or getting even.
So she grounds him.
She grounds him, becomes this vital stabilizing force in his, let's face it, pretty chaotic existence.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway there? It really highlights empathy, emotional intelligence. These aren't soft skills here, they're core strengths.
Absolutely.
Even in the most dangerous, action-packed situations, it kind of challenges that old idea that strength is only physical power, or just being super smart. Understanding, compassion, connection, those are powerful, especially when everything's on the line.
Exactly. True strength.
Okay, moving to our fifth insight.
Yeah.
And this one feels pivotal. The romance is the stakes. This really pushes back against seeing romance as just a side plot, you know, a little something extra added to the main action story.
Oh, completely. This is maybe the most radical idea in the author's approach, structure-wise.
So how does the author actually make the love story the central stakes for the whole series?
Well, they don't treat the love between Imani and Elijah as just a personal bonus, something nice they have between missions. No. It's presented as their single biggest vulnerability, their critical weakness. And it's something their enemies, especially Barlow's syndicate, absolutely know about and will exploit ruthlessly.
So their connection isn't just personal, it's strategic.
Yeah.
A liability.
Yes. It can literally be weaponized against them.
Okay, that's intense.
It is. But here's the thing. That vulnerability, that weakness, It doesn't weaken the story. It becomes the engine driving the whole plot.
How so?
Because it creates new conflicts that are even more terrifying than just physical threats. It raises the tension constantly. The author essentially poses this ultimate question through the narrative. Can this incredibly powerful bond they've built actually survive a world that is actively trying to rip it apart using that very bond?
So you genuinely fear for their relationship, not just their lives.
Exactly. Because their love and the danger are completely tangled together. You can't separate them.
Yeah, that's a powerful way to structure a story. How personal relationships get woven into these huge conflicts. It turns love from just a subplot into the absolute core of the drama.
It makes the emotional stakes incredibly high.
And you can see that playing out, not just in fiction, but, sometimes in life too. Our deepest connections can be where we're most vulnerable.
And maybe where we find our greatest strength too.
Right. Okay, so recapping this deep dive into Heart and Cipher, we've seen how danger can be this crucible for love. How secrets, amazingly, can become bridges.
We talked about that unique architectural love of Elijah's.
Yeah, and the power of Imani's empathetic heart as her core strength.
And finally, how the romance itself isn't just part of the story, it is the stakes.
It's quite a set of insights.
It is. And the author's final message is really encouraging, I think. Not just for writers, but kind of for anyone navigating their own life story. They basically say, don't get stuck in genre boxes. Let the specific dangers and pressures of your world or your character's world define how deep the romance goes. Let vulnerabilities be strengths.
It's a call for authenticity, really.
Yeah.
Even if it breaks the mold.
Exactly. That's what connects.
So, building on that thought, the author leaves us with this idea about finding light in the darkest shadows. It's a recurring theme. And maybe the final thought for you, listening, is this. What does it actually mean for you to find light in your own shadows, whatever they may be? And how do those connections you build with all their risks, all their vulnerabilities, how do they become the source of that light, the source of resilience that helps you navigate whatever comes next? Something to think about. We'll be back with another deep dive soon.